Hello, everyone. I'm here
Oh,
with Dr. Rahman. He is an exemplary Indian composer, musical composer, a filmmaker, and an Oscar Award recipient. Thank you so much again, Dr. Rahman, for taking the time to be here today. Starting off with the
thank
questions,
you.
the world knows
Thank
you
you.
as, oh, no, thank you. The world knows you as this music legend, but I feel like you have a new passion for technologies as well. So, how does tech play into the whole realm of filmmaking and music composition? Do you feel like tech needs to be incorporated into the visual or performing arts?
Tech is always a tool. Before we had, the tools like carpentry, hammer, and this and that to chip things. Now when I was very young, my dad passed away when I was 9. He had left a lot of equipments. He was the first one to buy the synthesizer in 1974, and so I got introduced to it. These were the toys I had when I was young, and I grew up with these. And then I bought my first music computer in '84, December. It came from Singapore, and that changed my life. And like I was playing keyboards and piano and harmonium, but then a whole new way of for introverts like me. So we didn't have need any musicians to what do you call orchestrate a piece and listen to it back. Nobody's judging you, so you have the freedom of judging it yourself. And I'm probably going back to it again and again till you get it amazingly well. That started, and then uh, luckily that set the base for what I'm doing now. The
Mhm.
synthesizers, MIDI, and sound engines and samplers and physical modeling and all the stuff. Then after the whole Oscars, I spent a lot of time in LA in my house, and I would go for probably in India. I never would have gone to so many parties, but because I'm not name dropping here, but there's so many parties from Spielberg and J.J. Abrams and Disney and Fox, and been all that and met all these amazing editors and cameramen and storytellers. Then I took some lessons on screenwriting. Then on imaging, I went to MIT a little bit to know about the future of imaging and VR and all the stuff. So these led to like, why can't we take our own movie? Why can't we tell stories in a way where culminating all the knowledge I've learned? And everybody, when there's a storyteller, his point of view, how he sees the world or how she sees the world, and that's completely different from what other people see. Some people say natural, way of storytelling. Some people have their own way of how they want to see the world and how they see the world. Yes. So like that, my interest was, why can't we tell Indian stories in a very different way? Why can't we give stories to the world? Even if you take Western stories and give to the world, why can it come from India? Why does it have to be from the West? Because when they made Gandhi, we saw it, and so that's one of the reasons why I also my friend Shekhar Kapoor, who I've been associated for the past 25 years. Yeah, because he a very inspiring person who directed Elizabeth the Golden Age and Elizabeth the Virgin Queen. And being an Indian and directing something so mainstream for England was path breaking for me. And that led me like, oh, so we can also do stuff. And I've been working with them since for the Golden Age, and he introduced me to Dubai Expo, where he started this orchestra, all women orchestra called Firdos, and set up the studio called the Firdos Studio. So the possibilities are endless. So technology, as your question is a tool for us, and it's getting better and better. It used to be very, very cumbersome before, and then the more simpler it is, the better. And that's what we're getting at. Like, how can we get a kind of peace where we don't have to deal with cumbersomeness of life? How that can simplify your stuff so that you can be in your own zone, discovering deep self, which is a spiritual consciousness.
I see. No, I mean, this answer is very interesting because it shows your genuine passion for learning and discovery. especially of new technologies, and how it's analogous to your first situation of introduction to new musical instruments, and how I guess you could say that new technology and modern day tech is playing a role um, in the same way as well.
Thanks.
So my next question is, are there any specific upcoming technologies that you're excited about that could help you in the process of filmmaking and music composition?
I think the metaverse is very interesting, and it's also dangerous because it could be used irresponsibly by some of the people. But I mean, to take the positive side, some of us get trapped in a form, but what is inside is superior to the form sometimes. And so the internal knowledge of what the talent could be put in the meta world, and that takes a whole new shape. Multiple talents can become one entity in the meta world. So these are the things which fascinated me. And so I'm trying to develop a couple of projects which are very challenging. It's too early to talk about it, and I'll reveal all this later.
No, absolutely. So I was just asking, why did you create this movie called Le Musque, and what are your plans for it?
Lemas was actually many things. As an Indian composer, winning an Oscar and all this stuff, there is the pigeonhole you into, oh, Indian stuff, let's go to here. Even though I've done like 127 hours in Pele, Couples Retreat, and all the stuff, still, I think the urge of going, nothing bad in India because I'm doing a lot of Indian movies. I love doing Indian movies. I'm proud, and that's what it's given. But I also would love to do something which is completely unrelated to India as a creative expression and do things.
Mhm.
And I think to get those were very difficult in Hollywood because all the places are already taken and they have, you know, their own myths. So I said, okay, when the technology and the story actually came, I was jamming with my wife and came up with a story, and she loves perfume. So when this came in, I said many things which I had in my mind. One is to why can't we do it in English, where this so new, and why can't that go from India to the world? So that was one of the things, and there was a kind of risk involved, but not that much because we funded it mostly ourselves, and we had some kind funding people from Ideal and Andal movies and all the stuff. So that's what we wanted to achieve, and then luckily we got a fantastic feedback when we premiered this at Cannes Festival. Exactly what I wanted to see, very similar to that stuff. Also, the technology kind of helps you because half the people have not even seen proper VR in the highest quality, which we, with my amazing team, came up to that level.
Yeah, no, that's definitely correct. I think introduction and exposure to VR is also quite limited. And like you said, at the beginning, it can go both ways. There's like a whole concept of ethical AI, and that will also play a role in virtual reality. But it's always nice to see it being incorporated into the arts, visual and performing. It's very fascinating. Um,
I feel like definitely we need people can't take liberties with IPs. People can't take liberties with faces, especially women and children and all the stuff. There's so much people can exploit, which could be very cruel and which we corrupt the whole society. So it's important that we actually change this animal before. There should be freedom, but not at the cost of humiliating somebody else or corrupting what their true self is.
oh, absolutely. That's yeah, it's an entire area of research and a lot of degrees. So yeah, no, it can it has like the opportunity to change the world, both good and bad, for sure. My next question was about Kartar. According to like website details, it's like an exclusive platform that'll help to promote new artists, new creations, and different art forms. So it utilizes like decentralized technology to bring together music lovers and the artistic community. So what was like the motivation behind it?
Motivation is everybody's jumping into Web3, and So my thing was, I don't want to do something temporary because everybody else is doing it and because our name is there and people trust my name. And I said, what can I bring fresh into this? And the whole idea of this decentralized stuff was empowering people who would rather be bullied by big companies or like musicians and artists who don't get what is due to them. And so we always hear, oh, songwriters get peanuts, or these people get peanuts, and finally you have all these owners of these, flying private jets, all the hard-earned money from these people. They so my thing was, if ever uh, this becomes concrete, and if in the worthy person, the artist who's given us soul and life and everything to create this, can get the same benefit, and if he gets the exposure, which usually takes millions of dollars to do, if he can get all this stuff, this whole industry, this whole profession gets a credibility, and that credibility is so important because on a social standing, if you ask anybody, what's your kid doing, and if they said musician, yeah, 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 what is he doing, and what job is he, and again I have to repeat, no, he's a musician. No, 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 but what real job? And people still, in every community, in every all over the world, this is the kind of condescending tone they reply if you're an artist or a musician. And so if that would change, because if they're empowered with finance, they're empowered with success and exposure, that whole thing just empowers so many people who are caught in that, oh, my son loves art, art, but then I asked him to become a doctor, or nothing wrong with that. But not we should not be waiting for people to fall sick to become doctors. We can also, treat them with art, with music, and heal them with art and music. And I think mental illness, especially, there's so much we can do with music and visual medium and storytelling, all this stuff. And so I feel like if that's the thing which I was so excited that this platform, what we're doing in Qatar, is the intention and the prayer and the thing that's what we're leading. We want to do is to see if it can do that and set an example for something like that, so that we don't lose ancient wisdom. Imagine having a ustad in Banaras or in Rajasthan, or a pandit who has this incredible traditional tumris which comes only through the family, like the Gharanas. And if you lose it, if that person loses it, that whole 5 generations of that tune is lost. Or the even the handicrafts and how calligraphy, and so there's so many things which we're going to lose because bigger capitalistic things come in and they take over small industries. And so I feel like maybe this is an answer, and if we can put our energies into empowering these people so that we don't lose that beauty, which is tried and tested and which has been passed over through generations, and whether it's compositions or artistry or so many different things.
Oh, definitely. Like, in fact, like you said at the beginning, the whole mentality around pursuing a profession or career in music or the performing arts has like a negative connotation, as you mentioned. So changing that mentality for one would be really important. And along with that, also this whole new age of tech and music and that sort of intersection and combination could also be quite meaningful because, like you said before, it could be used as a tool for impact. And it's nice to see that you're also helping the other younger artists and newer artists in the industry as well. So no, it's kudos to you for sure. Thank you for doing that.
My intention is that I hope I achieve that. We achieve that together. Yeah.
Absolutely. My last question is like if you had access to the upcoming or current technologies that you're currently learning more about, how do you think like your art or content creation from the past would have been affected or changed?
I think life is about evolution, and it's about going stage by stage. if things don't open up like an onion peel, we get bored. We can't keep doing, even if that come before we'd have been bored. So it's at the right time. All this stuff is happening, and I've been in the industry for almost 30 years, and then 10 years in the industry playing before that. So
Mhm.
literally 40 years of stuff. 40 years of being, in music field as a musician. And the past 10 years I've been, blurring into filmmaker, storytelling, and seeing possibilities of what could be the new. Because what we are sowing now may not be seen in, I don't know, this year, next year, or this may probably branch out or become this tree, amazing one, in probably 5 years or 10 years or 3 years. So I'm always optimistic about that. Like, nothing goes waste. All the investment, all the brain investment and human hours and soul we put will have its fruit. And so it's already now 6 years since we started Le Masque, and we learned so much about what not to do, what could be more effective without having any kind of returns plan.
No, absolutely. And like it definitely moves the industry forward as well. Like it's a whole it's like a series of mountains that you have to cross together as industry to be able to see the horizons above it. So all in all, like at the least, it'll be able to accomplish that, which I think is incredible and much needed, especially for the newer artists who are trying to build a lot of interesting work as well using the platform produced by you before. And I just think that
Yeah.
that's in general how industry and evolution of change actually occurs. That was my last question, but is there anything else you'd like to share about your metaverse projects or anything you'd like the viewers to know?
Um, Nothing can be disclosed now, unfortunately, but I will come out and um, this is just the beginning. I feel like there's so much. It's so nice to include the younger generation and work with them. You know, uh, nurture them, also learn from the enthusiasm from them and the energy which comes in when you're working with younger people.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wish you the best, and with everything, God bless. Take care.
Yes, definitely. Thank you again for your time and for sharing this information about your work and your past experiences, current ones, and future ones all together. Thank you again for your time.
Right. Bye.